Thank you, sir. Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, next joining us on the dais is Mr. Mano, Software Assurance Advisor, ISC Square. Big round of applause for Mr. Paul.
We probably need this on here. I've got a presentation, so if this will boot up in about a minute, then I'll go with the presentation. Otherwise, I'll fly without it. It's logged. Somebody needs to. That? Yeah, okay. Well, let's fly with what we have. So, my name is Mano Paul. I am Manoranjan Paul, and for those of you who know what Manoranjan means, it's entertainment. So I'm going to try to live up to my name, but I'll let you all be the judge of that. I want to first take time to thank Securitybyte founder Nish Bala, and as you see, he's been able to bring together black hats and white hats under the same roof to provide end-to-end security. Dhruv Soy and Puneet as well, good friends of mine, at the same time co-founders and co-chairs of OWASP India, which focuses on application security. And then we have Bithal, who is the OWASP India Chief Advisor. Distinguished luminaries, esteemed guests, my good friends from the US, and everyone else here. I want to take time first to say that I'm really very proud to be here in India with my family. And when I say my family, I literally mean my family. My wife is over there, Sangeeta, who is taking pictures of me. So just pray that the current does not go off, because I don't think with my tan, I'll be very visible in the pictures. And I come from Austin, Texas. I also have with me my son, who is somewhere in the back, who thinks Delhi is where Dollywood is, because Delhi and Bollywood, and you'll see as I go through this, I'll make a reference to a movie and what we can learn from it as well. So with that said, to those from the north, namaskar. To those from the south, vanakkam. And I'm proud to be an Indian here in this podium. What we're going to talk about is I'm going to ask you the question, what is the first line of defense in cybersecurity? And track with me. But before I say that, let me tell you first whom I represent and who I am. Hod over here, the Executive Director for ISC Square, which stands for International Information System Security Consortium, Certification Consortium. He made that, he talked about ISC Square a bit, so I'm not going to bore you with that, but I will tell you that it's an esteemed organization, and I'm really proud to be here with members like Howard Smith, who's a board member, Hod Tipton, who is the Executive Director, and Clayton Jones, if he is here in the crowd, who is the head of Asia Pacific Development. So it's an honor to be here with about 68,000 members. I've been working with them closely. But about me as such, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an author, I write a couple of books. I speak in different conferences, but about last Friday, the official announcement went out that I've been privileged to represent ISC Square as their software assurance advisor. So enough said about me. I would tell you who I am not, because I think that is even more important. So if you would divert your attention up to the screen, I will tell you who I am not, because if you do your research about speakers who come in and who is the one you're going to hear about, there's a likelihood that you may have seen this. When Google comes up, it's kind of a little bit hard to read, but it says Playboy March 1977, Mano Paul somewhere in between over there. And that comes from this, which is because of this. And you can't really see, but if you notice, I'm in the category of two kings. Stephen King, Larry King, and even Eddie Murphy is right there mentioned in that article. So, but important, that is not me, all right? The doctor is in the house. The symptoms are insecure software that's running on insecure hosts that are deployed on insecure networks. The prescription that we often give is perimeter defense. We install firewalls, big firewalls, right? We have patched hosts, antivirus, and so on and so forth. And we do security in the software development lifecycle in terms of protected applications. But if you take a moment to peel back and see what is the root cause, the root cause is unaware people that are untrained and uneducated. So what is really in common? We had the Admiral earlier talk about you and I and him and everyone else here in this room as being the cyber warriors, right? And we're cyber warriors, so the common thing in this entire scenario of security that we are in is that it is people. It is people, it is you and me. We need to be armed with the defensive postures to be able to take those who are using technology against ourselves. So what's really, I'm going to grab you here in a minute. What's wiring this evolving world? I asked a good friend of mine, Mark Curfey, who's also one of the co-founders of the OWASP organization. I asked him, give me a quote on software security, and this is what he said. He said, in the 80s, we wired the world with cables. In the 90s, it was with networks. Today, we're wiring the world with applications, such as web services and mashups. And then he made another very interesting statement, which was to say, to have skilled professionals capable of designing and developing secure software is now critical to the evolving world. Skilled professionals. Who are skilled professionals? I'll visit that in a minute when I talk about who I deem as being security trained. I also want to take a moment to talk about ISC Square's newest certification, which is a secure software, certified secure software lifecycle professional. And it is ISC Square's newest certification that takes you across the entire life cycle of software development. It caters to various stakeholders. You can't really see much, but it goes from executive management all the way to auditors and technical experts, cybersecurity folks, to the business user as well, as part of who are the ones that can actually benefit from this certification. I'm going to talk a little bit more in my talk later today about Die Hard, about Hindi movies and things like that. So I will talk about that, as well as I'll talk about and introduce in more depth CSSLP as to what it stands for and what you can get from it. But I also want you to pay attention to the training that the event organizers here have arranged. And for the very first time in India, we're going to be doing a 2-day CSSLP class, which I would recommend if you're interested to take, because it's definitely a career booster for you. At the same time, it is one which will put you in the echelons of members such as Harvards and the Hoods and everyone else who raised their hands here as part of ISC Square's member elite. So I would say take a look at it. It'll be delivered by yours truly, Mano Paul. So it'll be a pleasure to have you all in the class if you're interested. And I also am given the liberty to say that if you're interested in some discounts and so, talk to me and we'll get the organizers, get them arranged for yourself. Now the need is to secure the weakest link. Kevin Metnick, in the book Art of Deception, he writes that in the Art of Deception, he writes that we hack people. Bruce Schneier made that same statement. He in fact said something to the effect where he said, amateurs hack systems, professionals hack people. And that is absolutely true. Today we are in a world where cyber war and warfare is won on bits and bytes. And the ones that are armed to be able to defend or not is you and me. And we all need to be security trained. And what I mean when I say security trained, as I coined that term, is that you need to be aware of what we need to do. Secondly, that is not only that only goes so far, not just being aware of what you need to do, but having the skills to be trained in being able to do what we need to do to secure our systems, our critical infrastructure, our applications, and so on and so forth. And finally, also from training to have the skills, we also need to know, in terms of having been educated, to know when to apply the skills and where to apply those skills, so that you have true total defense of security. So I asked that question when I started. The first line of cybersecurity, the first line of defense of cybersecurity is what? The answer to that question is you and me, people. It is you and me that is the first line of security, of cybersecurity in the evolving world that we live in today. And while I was actually flying down over here, I watched this movie called 99, and it's a good movie. It's one of the latest releases, I believe, and it's a Hindi movie. So this is what I got from that movie. In a country where cricket is secular religion, I think the best analogy for me to end this keynote will be in terms of drawing an analogy from cricket. For those who are not from India, who are not familiar with cricket, pardon me as I draw this analogy, where it says, "Bas wo ek run ki baad hi standing ovation hota hai." Of course, I paraphrase that. And for those who don't follow Hindi, that basically means a standing ovation is only after that one.